Good afternoon, everyone. This is James with the Unity of Greenville. Appreciate you being with me today. I'm glad to be able to share with you some good things, some good stuff. You ready for some good stuff? You know, a lot of times in the world, we have a lot of over-promising but little delivery of good things in our lives. And so I want to share with you some things that will really help you, to uplift you, to encourage you, to help you to grow, and to get you ready for a brand new year. Are you ready for 2023? Can you believe that we're just right there at the gateway, we're at the portal into a brand new year, and it's exciting. So I wanted to let you know about our New Year's Eve service. Starts at 6:30. You can join with us live or online, and we'd love to have you. We do a burning bowl ceremony where we let go of things that no longer serve us, and we imagine and visualize those things that can be helpful in our lives. And it's always a beautiful service. People love it. And then this Sunday will be our Q&A. And what that means is you'll be able to ask questions. So if you're thinking of a question right now, just send an email to me, revjamesking77 @gmail.com or unitygreenville @gmail.com, and we will take your question and we'll make it part of some of the questions that we talk about. So looking forward to both of those meetings coming up this Sunday. But right now, I want to talk to you about being a leader, being a follower in the new year, and what all that is and what all that means, and how that we can be a good follower and be a good leader at the same time. Some people think that you have to either be a follower or a leader. No, that's not really true. What's really true is that we all follow others in some way in our lives, and we have to learn how to be good followers so that we can become good leaders. In Proverbs 11:14, it says, "Where there is no guidance, a people falls." Where there is no guidance, the people falls. But in an abundance of counselors, there is safety. With an abundance of counselors, there's always safety. Now, we talked on Tuesday about inspiration, how that inspiration is breathing in, taking life in. It's the participation with life. We are participating with life. When you're inspired, you act, you commit, you are in the process of coming out of being into doing. And that's a beautiful thing. That means to go within. And that means to go within in order to know something or to interact with it, to explore, to talk, to experience, to try, and to do it without judgment, because we know that our guidance is within. So we want to learn how to go within. So in the Bible, Jesus talked about making disciples. And he was basically talking about those who would become followers of his teaching, followers of his teachings. And a disciple is a disciplined one who follows, pays attention, is really looking to learn and grow. Now, there were 12 disciples that Jesus had. And I think it's interesting, there are four basic, or actually 12 basic personalities. And Jesus had 12. And so the number 12 in symbology has to do with management. It also has to do with governing. So Jesus had chosen these 12 disciples for a reason, because ultimately the 12 disciples became the 12 apostles, became the 12 apostles. And so if you want to become an apostle or a sent one, which is what the word literally means, to be sent on a mission, to accomplish something, to do something. And so a disciple is one who is learning. They're a student, and they are in process of learning how to accomplish something and become something. But the disciple has to have some discipline in order to be a good follower. Being a leader is hard if you've never been a good student or a follower. Somebody says, "Well, I have to be in control." Well, that doesn't always make you a good leader. That just means that you're a control freak. And being a good leader is learning how to be a good follower. If you're a good follower, then you can translate that into being a good leader, because it works together. So I want to give you some points here on what this is going to do for you in the new year. Number one, you have to first follow your inner guidance system. That's the first thing. You want to follow your inner guidance system, your IGS, your inner guidance system. You want to become familiar with the spirit of truth that is within you, because there's this energy, this God power that's inside you that knows the difference between truth and falsehood, between truth and falsehood. So it's important as a follower that you learn to discern what's really true and what's really effective, what really works. There's so many scams out there today. There's so many teachers and self-described gurus and all kinds of folks who are putting forth all kinds of things. So you have to become aware of your own inner guidance system and learn to discern what is truth and the difference between truth and falsehood. It's important to only follow those that empower you and inspire you. If you find somebody like that, they're not into manipulation, they're not into control, they're not trying to get something out of you. Basically, they're just there to serve and to assist and to empower you, to inspire you. Those kinds of leaders you can happily follow. I believe that that's the kind of leader that Jesus was. That when he taught the disciples, yes, some of the things he said were hard for them because they were coming out of an older religious tradition, and he was trying to get them to understand that much of what they believed was based upon a law that was really no longer serving, no longer helping them. And so you can happily follow a leader who is of the truth. And the first thing you're going to notice about them is the loving kindness. Are they loving and are they kind? Yes, you can learn from other people. I'm not saying that you can't. But the key is to follow people who exemplify love and kindness. And the next point is questioning is always okay. If someone tells you you cannot question them, you just have to do what they tell you to do, then that to me is a sign that there's something underhanded, or there's some kind of a hidden agenda that you need to question, and you need to get to the bottom of it. And if they won't reveal it to you, then you just need to walk away. Because I have seen these scams over and over again in my life. People have asked me to join particular groups, And and so in the beginning, I would just join whatever group was out there because I just wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. I remember going to a Bible study once when I was very young, as a teenager, and it was way out in the country. And come to find out, these folks were white supremacists, you know, and I didn't even know what that was at the time. And but as I heard them talk, there was something in me that says, "Hey, this is not right." They're putting down a whole segment of society, and this is not correct. This is not the Christ nature, the nature of love and kindness. And so it's always good to question. It's always good to look at and see what is their motivation. Is it just money? Is it just they want money from you, and but there's nothing that they're giving. Now, some folks are going to charge more than others, and it's up to you to decide, is it worth it? You know, is the quality of what they're giving you worth what you are paying? And that's something that you always have to think about and consider. So questioning is always okay. Now, as a student, you want to learn how to um, slowly shift. And a good teacher will begin to give you responsibility and begin to tell you, okay, I want you to go and try this and that, and become responsible for yourself. But sometimes we try to jump ahead too quickly. We try to say, okay, I don't need any more learning. I've got this all figured out. Well, when you do that, sometimes you'll end up having to learn things the hard way, and you'll hit a lot of roadblocks and headaches and so forth. So it's important to, a little bit at a time, take your power and begin to act and begin to do the things that you're being taught, that you're being led to do as a leader. If you want to truly be an apostle, apostle is just somebody who is sent to accomplish a certain task. So, but you can learn to do it a little bit at a time, and that is helpful. So you don't want to rush into it. It's like it's important to get some good training and to really pay attention, and but at the same time, to be empowered to begin to work and do those things a little bit at a time. And this goes for any area of life, whether it's spiritually, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether it's relationship, whatever it is. It's important to understand how to be a good follower and a good leader. And it's important to respect your process. We all learn in different ways. I know when I was in school, there was a particular way that I learned that was more hands on, that was more of uh, the kind of thing where I needed to do what they were saying in order for me to be able to get. I remember being in geometry class, and the teacher would give forth all of these formulas and things to do, and I couldn't keep them in my head. They would just pop out. And so for me, I had to sit down and by rote begin to write out the formulas and figure out the answers and do it for myself. And that was how I was able to learn these things. And I had to gain that wisdom about myself, which is so important, to know yourself and to know how you learn. And if you learn a certain way, then that's the way you want to go. So you want to go from being a trainee to one who is sent into the world, ready to serve, clear in your purpose, clear in your divine purpose. That's what we're talking about spiritually here. Clear, what is your divine purpose? Do you know what that is? And you can begin to do it a little bit at a time until you begin to own it and it becomes a part of you. And then genuine leadership is a natural outpicturing of divine guidance. what is within you needs to get beyond you. You need to be able to put it out into the world, your abilities, your talents, and your gifts. And that's where success comes from in our lives. A lot of folks that have all this talent, all these hidden abilities, but they never bring them to fruition because they don't allow the gifts within them to come out and to serve the world in some kind of way. And so it's important to outpicture, to get out of you what is within so that you can see it, so that you know what your gifts are and you can practice them and you can become what it is that you are called to be. You know, um, Eric Butterworth said, "You cannot rise above your consciousness." Just think about that. You cannot rise above your consciousness. In this new year, if you want certain things to happen, you're going to have to obtain the consciousness of it in order to be able to experience it. Where you are in consciousness has everything to do with what you see and experience, according to Eric Butterworth, and I think he's right on. So your consciousness has to shift, and that's why it's important to be around those who have the gift, the talents, the abilities that you want to learn so that you can follow them, so that you can see what they're doing and you pick up their energy and their spirit and you practice with them. I believe that for 3.5 years, the 12 disciples followed Jesus around. They saw him at every moment of the day, and they were able to pick up from him, his essence and his spirit. And in fact, in the scriptures, it said they were filled with the Spirit of Christ. And what does that mean? Well, they had gained insight into his teachings. They had learned how to perceive and to see things in the way that Jesus did. And they were able to move from that place of being a disciple to being an apostle, to being a sent one with a mission. And that's the way you and I can be, but we have to have the consciousness first. You have to study, you have to be a good student, be a good follower, and then you can become a teacher. You can become a leader. You can become one who has a purpose and a mission. Does this make sense? Well, we're coming into the new year, and I just think it's important to be empowered. I think it's important to uh, get the new year started right. We've got to let go of those old patterns and allow ourselves to learn some new things and to gain a new consciousness so that we can act from that consciousness and we can experience a new life, a new way of being. Every year, I believe it's important to reinvent ourselves. If what you were doing last year didn't work, let it go. Let it go and ask for something new to be put in its place so that you can move forward and experience something new and fresh and different and wonderful. You deserve to have a positive experience in your life. You deserve health. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be prosperous. You deserve good relationships. Don't you? Don't you? Yes, you do. But you have to believe that. So you have to have the consciousness of that. And that's where affirmations come in. It's good to affirm to yourself that, yes, this is who I am, and this is what I desire, and this is my mission. And then once you know those things, you can begin to speak them out, you begin to practice them, and they become a way of your life. And 2023 can be the most exciting year that you've ever lived. I believe that every year I live, every year gets more exciting. Now, there's some years that have more challenges than others, say the past few years, for instance, but that's okay because this new year, I believe can be very uplifting and encouraging and can be joyful and be very prosperous for us. But we need the consciousness, according to Eric Butterworth, and I think that he He knew what he was talking about. We have to have the consciousness in order to experience it. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening to me today. I really appreciate it. If you feel that Unity of Greenville is a place where you're being fed, it's a place where you're being taught, you're being encouraged, I invite you to go to our website, unitychurchofgreenville.org, and to make a donation and so that we can continue the work that we do, that we love to do, and we appreciate you. If you have a prayer request, let us know, and we'll join you in prayer. And we'll also forward your prayer requests on to Silent Unity, and they will hold them for another 30 days after we hold them in prayer for 30 days. All right. Well, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.